Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So we're going to do some shop work today. We're going to take the cab off the 621 case wheel loader, and then we're going to pull the transmission out of it so that we can take it down to CSI in Elwood, Indiana, and have them look at it. Because if you remember from my last video, we were pulling it to the lowboy, drug it up on the lowboy, and brought it back to the shop, got it in here, done some investigating on it, and sure enough, the front bearing was junk again. Well, back bearing on first gear shaft, because the transmission actually sits backwards in this loader. So this is actually the back of the transmission. The front of the transmission is bolted to the engine. So that bearing's chewed up again. It's junk. What happens is first gear shaft runs super fast in these loaders. And it's got splines on it and a drum. And over time, the splines get bad. The drum gets bad. Splines in the drum get bad. And then what it does is it actually loosens this shaft up and it relieves the preload on the bearings. And then that causes them to kind of go nuts in there, shaft to wiggle around, and just causes all kinds of havoc. The problem is now, is at a certain point, Case said they're done making parts for these Clark transmissions, ZF transmissions, and these old 621s. They made a ton of 621s, but they just got to the point where they're like, they're too old. We're not making parts anymore for them. So now the question is, are we going to be able to find the parts? Luckily, down at CSI, they have some used parts. They're going to see what they have, and they're going to see what we need. Hopefully they can scrounge up enough stuff to possibly put it back together. If not, well, then the old 621's going out to the death row. We'll pull the grapples off of it, probably take the two new front tires off of it, and put the grapples on a different loader. Might convert them to JRB style quick coupler. That's a possibility. We done a little measuring yesterday afternoon on my Uncle Jamie's 624H Deere, and it looks like these grapples would actually pin to it. So there's a possibility that they could pin on to another size machine, or we could find us a newer 621, and we know they'll go right on a 621, a newer one. But if we're going to upgrade loaders, next loader we want a quick coupler on, so we'll probably just end up with a quick coupler. We'll have to put the JRB 416 hooks, I believe is the number for those that would be in this weight class or class of size loader. So we just convert the grapples to that. Then we could have forks, a bucket, the grapples, a snow box, whatever we want to do, we can change it out fast. Because we've had this loader for like 14 years now, and them grapples have been on it since we bought them and put them on in those 14 years. The bucket has never been back on this loader since we got those grapples. And we got those grapples like a month after we got the loader. By the time Fleco built them, it was about a month, and then we put them on because they were ordered for a 621. So kind of the reason for that is because you got to pin them on and off. So, and we've had the Bobcats, so we just kind of moved dirt with Bobcats. But it would be cool to be able to switch the bucket out quick, and we would probably use the loader more if it had a quick coupler on it. Little update on 1988 Peterbilt with the 3406B Cat. We're waiting on one dowel pin. That one right there, waiting on that. The head is back from Dysinger's machine shop. It's ready to go back on the truck. We need that dowel pin. We need to measure liner height, and we need to get the main bearings, rod bearings, all that put back together. And we're going to pull this front cover off and reseal it. And then a lot of that can go back together. But just waiting on one piece for the time being. So we're going to cover that up, and then work on this. So let's get started. Let's get this cab off. We'll get that transmission pulled out of there. So George will be here today, and Tyler said he was coming at some point. So we're gonna have plenty of help. So let's get at it. So Case actually made this fairly simple to take this cab off. We got our 4 hoses here for our joystick, which I'm going to put different colored zip ties on those. So because all the fittings are the same, so we need to designate them somehow. So I get some zip ties put on these. I got kind of little short zip ties. I need a little longer ones, but they'll work. Now you could use anything. Use twisty ties, they're different colors. I've even seen guys that have used different numbers of cow ear tags. Just wire them to things. Or you can even use like foam wire if you wanted to. But I like to use these little zip ties. I'll finish marking those, and then we have our electrical connections, which those are just a thread on deal, just like so. Just thread them off. We'll clean them up before we go back together, if we put it back together. So I'm going to mark these where they go, because I believe that they look like they're the same plug-in. Go ahead and take this one off real quick and have a look at it. It might be different. Yeah, they're pretty close to being the same. So I'm going to go ahead and mark them somehow. Maybe I'll just put a zip tie to designate the front one, because they can only kind of go to certain spots because they're only long enough to go. And then we have our cab power right here, so that'd be our main electrical feed. And we have 2 brake lines, one here and one here, and then we have 2 steering hoses. So pretty simple. And then all 4 cab mount bolts. So let me get these marked, get them apart, and we'll move on. While I'm working on getting these pilot control lines off for the joystick and cab, it's going to be a little bit of a mess of oil here for a little bit, but that's all right. Get these out and we'll pull them down out of the center hinge here, the loader, and get them out of the way. Throw them in a drain pan so they can drain out. There we go, there's them. I guess you should be able to pull them down just like so. There we go. There we go. Those are out of the way. Now I can move on to these 2 brake lines, get them out of the way, and then all I have is steering hoses left to deal with. Alright, so I was wrong. This steel line here actually feeds the pilot control joystick up in the cab. So I've got that off out of the way. I'm down to my last hose here on the power steering valve. Nice thing is this loader has never seen snow plowing, so it's not like it's ever been out in the salt. If that was the case, this would be a nightmare. There's usually loaders that plow snow, they get really ate up with salt, fittings are ate up, but luckily this one stays out in the bush most of the time. Alright, so all the hoses are off of there. I just got to get these 2 air lines, and they're kind of a booger because they're behind that valve, and the way the loader's steered right now, I can't really get into them very easy. So we might pick the cab up if I can't get to them. Pick the cab up some, and then I can get in there and get them off. So got 2 cab mount bolts to go on this side, and it should lift off. Well, we're down to our last cab mount bolt. So Brick and George are going to get that one out. They're in there pretty good, so George's going to let that wrench bottom out into the cab.
He's cheating.
That one tight?
He's cheap a little bit.
There we go.
Impact out.
Where's that? Oh.
Yes. My arms are getting tired.
Yeah. Manual labor. Well, the cab's just sitting on there now. There's nothing holding it on, so as soon as we roll it out, the wind could take it right off.
I don't think so.
No, it's pretty heavy. All right, now we gotta get it outside. Well, we're gonna attempt to gently pull it out of the shop. We use the 4955 since we don't have the Bobcat here. Hopefully it'll steer itself straight since the lines are all off to the steering. Wilson, what do you think? We're hoping by pulling on this side of the grapple it'll steer it. Oh yeah, there it goes. It's working. It's bending it straight. Yeah, now we're gonna have to pull from the other side. There we go. Hey, stop there. Hey, let's put it back in the middle now. And then that should get it pretty straight going out the door. That'll work. Yeah, there you go. There we go. We're going to do some more pressure washing on it.
Just like we planned it.
Yeah, worked out real good. That's good right there. That'll give us plenty of room. Well, it's going to roll down off the approach. That's all right. That'll work. Perfect. Now we get the service truck crane up here and we'll get this cab off. So here's an issue we're having. We didn't have this problem on the other side, but this is a filler neck for the hydraulic tank, and this step is not clearing it. So we're gonna have to take these bolts out, take this off, and then that'll allow it to lift off without hitting anything. Can't get the impact in on these bolts. Oh, them are tight. I have to get the long ratchet. Yeah. Oh. Yep, we're gonna have to get something a little longer to break in loose with.
Break?
Yep, broke that one off. What's the famous saying? You have to weld a nut to it?
Yeah. Well done.
Yep, weld a nut to it. That one's coming out. Just fine. Well, the 621 is officially cabless. Reminds me of that part of Smoking the Bandit where the top of the car got ripped off. And Junior's like, Dad, the top came off. We're going to soak it down with some Purple Thunder here. And let it sit while we go to lunch. Then we'll come back and we'll give it a good pressure washing. Alright, so we're starting to take lines out, getting stuff tore apart here so we can get to our transmission. So we got us a big chunk. I'll go ahead and rip it out. Just like so. We're going to leave some of this all together. That way we're not getting too much stuff all tore apart and strung out in the shop. Things are going to get oily again, that's for sure. So we got some big lines to deal with here. So we need this chunk here. From here to behind Brick's foot right there. That is the transmission. The rest is the torque converter housing. We just need the transmission out. So some of these fittings are pretty darn big, and we actually have a metric crescent wrench we're using. Everybody always jokes about metric crescent wrench. Are you guys having fun? That's a stout one.
All right, George, hang on.
It's a big fitting.
Anything else to hold on to. Hey, can you put a ratchet strap to the that mount over there?
Oh, it's George versus Brick. Who's gonna win?
Oh, there.
Oh yeah!
The freaking seats.
Oh,
Hold on.
I heard something pop in Brick's body. I'm not sure what that was.
My shoulder.
Was it your shoulder or your SI joint? Did you pop your SI joint? That's that little joint in your leg that if you like put your arm between your legs and squeeze to the count of like 10 like 3 times and then like sneeze, it pops. It's like in your pelvis or something stupid.
Oh, that was my shoulder.
Oh, that one's tight, isn't it? Wish we had some opener wrenches that size. Spray a little cat pee on that. Oh, might need to tighten that wrench up a little bit. Thing's probably going to end up in a fence row anyway, so if you antique the nut a little bit. Yeah, you should be able to use the wrench now. Look at that. Don't tell my Uncle Jamie we're using this brand new crescent wrench. Dustin went and got it out of the truck, so it's Dustin's fault if anybody's. He enabled us. Because I left all my big crescent wrenches over at the other shop. Okay.
They're here.
Oh no, we're busting now. Well, we're ready to pull the hydraulic pump out. This is a hydraulic pump that actually is for the functions of the loader and all that, steering, everything like that. Think I can pick it up?
I'll pick it up. You want to scroll? When are we going to wake up? Hit that button. Got it? Yep. Got it? Yep, I got it. Almost spot the shop right here. There we go. Yeah. Now.
So there was a filter base here, and Tyler got a little wound up and took that out, and it has got some sort of pump, little shaft that goes through here, and then there's this spacer deal. I'll have to look in the book and see exactly what that is. But looks like we got some O-rings in there. Got a drive for that little pump. Well, good morning, everybody. It is day number 2 on this project, and today we're going to pull the transmission out. We just have to determine what bolts we need to take out, and we need to figure out how to rig this to get it out. Because as you can see, there are no spots on top of it for anything to bolt on, thread on. Typically, most of the time, something large like this will have a threaded hole in the top, and you thread a big eye in and you can pick it up. But this doesn't seem to have anything other than we could bolt something here. We could choke it with a strap. We'll just have to figure that out as we go. Might be able to choke a strap up around here and it'll cinch up here and pick it out. All right, it's on.
Was it rolling? Oh man.
go out a little. Out. Good for now. Down. 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 Stop. Oh, shit. Yeah, go up. Okay, swing toward Brandon. Yeah, baby. All right, George, good. Sit down. Go ahead and go down a little more, George. We're gonna try to sit on some jack stands. Just go down a little more. We'll sit north of the water. Yep, that's good right there.
Well, there the transmission is. It's on a pallet and it's gonna head to Elwood. We're not gonna mess with it. We started to take a few things off of it and we just decided, you know what? We're gonna take it to the rebuilder, let them tear into it, let them take it apart so they can see what's going on as they take it apart. There's gonna be a lot of tolerances that need to be checked. There's certain things that need tore apart with certain tools and put back together. There's things like the shift solenoids that can be checked. I don't have any way of checking them. I don't have the special tools. And there's special fixtures that hold the transmission while you work on it. I don't have any of that. So it's just going to be better if it goes and we have them take care of it. Would I like to tear it down and rebuild it? Yes, I would. But also at the same time, I have other things that I need to do. While this is being rebuilt, I can go dig some ditch somewhere. I can go clear some trees somewhere. sometimes it's better just to let somebody do what they do and you go do what you do, and it just all works out in the end. So it is a very, very heavy chunk of cast iron to deal with. Yes, I could build the stands, but like I said, what's the point of building the stands for something that I'm probably never going to do again? I will definitely let you know in a video either way what happens with it. If we end up junking it, if we can find the parts to fix it, we will rebuild it, put it back together. I hate to give up on it. It's still a nice loader, but I'm just kind of scared after hearing what I heard. Stuff's getting to be far and few between. So we'll see what happens. But either way, I'll let you know. And even, we'll show, I'm sure we'll get the parts back, what's wrong with it. It's definitely got an issue in it somewhere. I can grab the shafts, move them around. There's some play going on somewhere. So it needs to be torn down by a professional and looked at. I'm sure there's things that they know to look for, like the sharpness of teeth if they're worn, or the clearances in the clutch packs for the shifting. So it's just kind of out of our wheelhouse to tear into it and rebuild it. My fear is, what if I do something wrong and then I got to go through all this again? So sometimes it is better just let somebody do what they do. So anyways, thanks for watching. Greatly appreciate it. We learned a lot on this one. We did learn that you cannot separate the transmission from the torque converter housing in the loader and get it out. It don't work that way. So don't even try it. So anyways, thank you for watching. Greatly appreciate it. We'll see you all on the next one. Have a good evening.